up and back again. Hey, last time the Weeknd made a debut on this channel, it was Beardless C over here. I just came back into this shit like I wasn't just gone for a week with no notice. You love me anyway, so you're gonna accept me with open arms, alright? That's how this relationship is supposed to work. I go do my dirt on the side, and then you welcome me back. I thought that's how this worked. Anyway, despite my random absence, it's the Weeknd on a Friday. I can't really say I've been anticipating the Weeknd, new Abel, hey, whatever you guys want to call him, all right? If it makes you feel better at night knowing that this guy doesn't know who you are, but knowing that you know how to pronounce his name right, good looks on you. Me and the regular folk are gonna keep calling him Abel. Not really anticipating new Weeknd material. If it comes, it comes. That's how my relationship is with the Weeknd. I have the same kind of ideology with Party Next Door, with Bryson Tiller, although they make two totally different types of music. The Weeknd being the one that stays the most R&B traditional in my opinion, keeping most of his sounds and music kind of narrowed down to dark, spacier R&B as opposed to the trap flavor that Bryson Tiller and Party Next Door might use. But with most Weeknd material, of course, it comes at the worst time in human history, right around Easter. How am I supposed to be religious and then this song comes out? I gotta go get this out of my system before Easter. So if I find a hitter on here, what you want me to do? The album is called My Dear Melancholy with a comma at the end. Is this like a prequel to the album? There's no way your album name should end with a comma. So we're getting something else. Also, we've got production from Gesaffelstein. But to avoid from butchering his name any more than I may in this video, I'm just gonna call him G. G is still a fairly young producer for him to be touted as such a legend in some areas of the world, in my opinion. I was excited when I saw him in the credits of this EP, because I felt like he could have been used, now I'm looking at he could have been used for production on STARBOY. Weeknd was going kind of for that electro techno pop sound on that album in a way, so I think he would have been a nice fit for it. But we've talked enough. Let's see if we can't find some music for you to cheat on your girl, to respect women.
We found each other.
Wow.
You gave me comfort.
Damn.
I put you on top. I claimed you so proud. So call out my name.
It's too soon for this.
I want you to say,
This is a first song.
girl, why can't you wait? I fall out, I'm comfortable. You just
I can't. I'm going to see this live. My guy, that was the first track. I think the Weeknd is so much better at telling a story about a relationship than most artists are. Although I think it's very cheesy at some moments for him to go into certain subject matter in regards to certain types of relationships. I like this one because it's realistic. Like talking about a girl will walk all over you if you let her. A lot of them they're not gonna tell you if you're doing something that's a detriment to yourself. They're just gonna let you keep doing it. Like they're gonna, as long as it benefits them, a lot of them just keep letting you do it. So take care of yourself out there, man. Don't be taken advantage of. All right, put your foot down with these hoes. These respectable women. Track number 2, Try Me. God damn. Abel, that's me. Making up my mind at the last minute right when she's about to get with another guy. Then breaking up the whole thing. Unintentional instability. Yeah, I like the Weeknd over like spacier R&B, really dark R&B. Feel like you need like a whole bag of cocaine to really enjoy this. Track number 3, Wasted Times. Okay, this is earlier. The mixing sounds so clean on this right now. Tyler! someone mention to me on Twitter that this is kind of like a combination of the perfect combination of like Starboy and like the trilogy, and I disagree. I think The Weeknd is still, out of any of the artists, the one who's kind of evolving beyond just the spacey, the kind of airy, atmospheric, climatic, whatever you really like want to call it. Beyond that, you know, while still catering to it at the same time. I think the trilogy was so, I won't say basic, but I think the trilogy was so rooted in remaining mysterious, remaining dark, remaining a little bit emo, remaining a little bit more emotionless, to kind of drive forth the idea that Abel was this face coming out that was like a thief in the night, essentially, like someone who you really couldn't understand because he wasn't giving up that much. He isn't an artist that tells you that much about his life or his personal encounters like that. So you can kind of see a transition between the character that The Weeknd portrays in his music, and since the beginning, he's presented himself as kind of like this really dark figure that was really unidentifiable based off his music alone, because he didn't tell you that much about him. And then as we transition into more projects, it seems that he's starting to open himself up or step into the light a little bit more, but still kind of keeping those same habits from previous projects, like the darkness, like the edginess, like the emo kind of infested music. I mean, here we're getting kind of techno infusion, electro pop, and with a voice like The Weeknd, one who kind of emulates Michael Jackson in a way, I don't really see where you could go wrong with it. I think out of any of his contemporaries, he's probably the one that's giving it up the best. A lot of people probably don't know, but to me, I think it's very commendable for The Weeknd to come out with a new sound or try to reinvent himself. I don't get Starboy from this, and I don't get Trilogy from this. The mixing and the production just sounds so much cleaner. It's not so much more focused on trying to be mysterious as it is trying to paint the picture or you know, deliver the vibe that you're supposed to be in when listening to this track. It's laying out a foundation for a scene to take place more than it is just being dark for the sake of being dark. But, you know, I've been talking for a long time, so let's go to the next track. I Was Never There, featuring G. All right, relax. I just turned it on. Holy shit. Y'all gonna tell me this is Trilogy? No, stop it. Oh man. And The Weeknd in the background giving these vocals while the chorus is happening as opposed to being over them is beautiful for this track. Alright, I'm good. Instrumentally, one of the best songs. The thing I love about that track so much is how The Weeknd doesn't really force himself on the track, just kind of slides himself in. That's how I'm trying to be with this project. It's not so overbearing. He's not so overbearing. He's not trying to make himself the star of the track. He's just adding himself to the aesthetic of the music here, and that's what I like about it so far. During the quote-unquote hook or lack thereof in this track alone, you can see that he's taking a back seat to let the music really stand out. He's the one that's kind of smothered and kind of layered. The music, in a sense, is kind of layered over him, you know, and that's the forefront. You know, he's really painting the scenery here, and I just like that about this project. Another thing about this EP that I also like is how you can sometimes have some of these tracks speaking in metaphors. Like sometimes it could be about drugs and sometimes it can be about a woman. Like I'm using you, like in this last track that we just listened to. You can see that there is a method to The Weeknd's madness. There is something that he's using in order to remain sane, and you don't really know sometimes if that's a female or if it's drugs. On the previous track, I'm pretty sure it's drug, when he says like, you'd rather something toxic, so I poison myself again, until he feels nothing in his soul. So something to make the pain go away so he feels numb. Generally, you can get that feeling from drugs. This is just next track, Hurt You, featuring G again.
All the nights you slept alone, drying your eyes.
That's a recipe for disaster, you know that. Abel's telling him, I'm not trying to love you. You're not gonna get that on this side, but I can give you the physical satisfaction that you need at the moment. But I'm not here to love you, cause I don't want to hurt you, cause I respect women. Track number 6, Privilege.
I'm not gonna hold you through the night, cause I held you down when you were suffering. I got too bad to take the blues away.
Alright, so although I did enjoy majority of this EP, that final track was probably the weakest of everything I've listened to so far, only because unlike the other tracks, there really isn't any climactic hook here. There isn't any moment where on this track that the song becomes extreme or extravagant. Pretty much have to wait till the end for there to be a build up. And during the part where I guess there may or may not be a supposed hook, it's just pretty mellow. It's pretty just safe, pretty standard, as opposed to the hooks that we've gotten so far or the build-ups that we've gotten in the previous songs already. So that's probably why I don't like that track as much. That and the fact that, you know, due to that being the final track, I kind of just see how one-dimensional this entire project really is. And I guess I'm really not expecting The Weeknd to come out of what he's been doing, like rapping or singing about drugs and singing about women, pretty much. That's his thing, and I think that's what a lot of people go to him for. I guess the thing that's fun or more challenging about listening to The Weeknd's music is just seeing how metaphorically he's going to describe the drugs that he's taking or the women that he's fucking. That's kind of the fun in listening to The Weeknd and kind of trying to see how he's gonna say what he's gonna say next. Overall, I think this project sounds beautiful. I think it sounds really grand, really extravagant, really lovely. It sounds produced very well. I think the additions from G, especially on that track, what was I Was Never There, adds so much to this album, to this EP. It layers it in music. It layers. And I think that's probably my favorite part about this project is the fact that musically it's so dense and so layered. There's so many different parts to peel away from. Not only is it not genre specific, but it's just, if anything, genre bending. Elements of pop, elements of techno, electro, elements of R&B show up on this EP pretty regularly. I do think it's a bit of a double-edged sword here because I think his direct honesty with his intentions could make him come across to the female demographic in two totally different ways. I think a lot of them could probably look at him like, oh my god, he's so mysterious and he's so honest at the same time, like how could I not want him? And there are probably gonna be females out there like, this dude's a fuckboy, a dark, spacey, hippie fuckboy. There's not that much interpretation that you need to be doing with this album. It's either about sex, women, or drugs. That's it. That's the extent of most of Abel's music. As to what it's inspired by, some could speculate Selena Gomez. I think, like I said, The Weeknd made some amazing production choices with this EP. I mean, it sounds so grand and lush and extravagant and expensive. My main criticism with this project is Abel just finding a different way to say the same thing he's been saying for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And it's no hate or diss to any of his music. I enjoy his music, but there isn't a change in what he's saying. It's just a change in how he's saying. Different events inspire this EP, just like different events will inspire the next album and the next album. It's not really a change in what he's talking about for the most part. I like that at the same time because there's no resolution that has been found. It's kind of like I'm going through life and seeing where it takes me, and if I come back and I rap about the same thing or I sing about the same thing, it just means that I didn't find resolution or peace in the decision I may have made or talked about in the previous album. But as I said, us not knowing that much about The Weeknd and him presenting himself as this mysterious kind of character, I think it could work out in his benefit. He could kind of expound upon more of his personal life. So I'm here for it. The Weeknd, what's this EP? Thank you for watching. It's been Shawn C. I'll see you in the next one. I got some good music to listen to here. A couple good songs. So I'm definitely going to church on Sunday. See you all later. It's been Shawn C. and I'm out. Peace. Rust outro.